What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And in this video here, I want to talk to you about how to stay motivated during tough times for your clothing brand. Maybe you've been working at your clothing brand for a while and you still don't have a lot of orders coming in. You're still struggling to get sales and you're literally thinking, I've tried everything possible to get my clothing brand to work for me, but nothing's working. I want to talk to you about how to stay motivated here, and I want to do this from a very real and genuine place where everything that I'm saying actually makes sense and where I'm not just trying to make you feel good, okay? So this video is really going to put things into perspective for you and get you fired up to keep working on your clothing brand no matter what. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and if you need designs made for your clothing brand, I seriously recommend that you give them a shot for the designs of your clothing brand. What you do is you post a project on Design Crowd, then amazing designers from all around the world will compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design. Here's an example of a design that I had made through Design Crowd that I'm literally selling through my website right now. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you where you can save up to $100, or simply use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. Okay, the first thing I want to say in this video here is that if you have been at your clothing brand for 6 months or a year or 2 years and you're still struggling to grow your clothing brand, that's completely normal. So don't expect that you should already be there yet, because most clothing brands aren't there after a year or two. So if your clothing brand's not there after a year or two, that's cool. That's how it should be. That's how it is. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And if it was quick, everybody would do it. So it takes time, all right? Burst that bubble right now. Like, it takes time. It's a 10-year journey. So if you're on your journey, you're 6 months in, and it's a 10-year journey, right? You actually want to grow a legitimate clothing brand, then 6 months is like, you're literally just figuring out what the hell your brand's all about still. So don't freak out yet. It's super important to put that into perspective, right? Because most people think that they should be farther along their journey than what is realistic and what, is really even possible given their resources and where they're starting from. The progress that you've made in the first 6 months of just making a simple tweak to your brand concept or to your website is absolutely massive progress that you just don't see because it's not in the results yet. But that little tweak that you had, that little idea that you had that made you change something, is actually progress, and it's real progress, and it's leading you to where you want to go eventually. I know that there are stories of brands that started up and they just took off and everything just exploded. And people started sharing it all over the place and some big famous guy wore it and it just took off. They never had to market it a day in their life because it just took off, right? I know that that's happened before. It definitely has. But that's just like winning the lottery, okay? It's literally like winning the lottery. That doesn't happen for most businesses. And just because that hasn't happened for you doesn't mean that you can't get success for your clothing brand, okay? The way that most businesses achieve success is through putting in hard work, sticking to a process, and being very, very patient over time. And honestly, the main way that I stay motivated growing my clothing brand, the number one way is just by having a deep understanding and the knowledge to understand how long it's supposed to take. So, when I'm 4 years in right now and I'm where I'm at with my clothing brand, I don't freak out and think that, I have to be some multi-millionaire growing a clothing brand right now. I'm cool with where I'm at because I know that it's a long journey and I'm able to put that into perspective. The reason why I'm kind of in your face right now is because I know that most people watching this video who are trying to start a clothing brand have the completely wrong outlook when it comes to how long it should take to grow their clothing brand. And they want those fast results. They want everything to just take off and they want it right now. And if you're in it for that reason, to just try and get money right now, or to try and, satisfy your ego, to show everybody else just how successful you are and just how you created this amazing clothing brand, then you're in it for the wrong reason. And that's not going to allow you to have the longevity that you need to get the results that are coming in the future if you're actually able to just enjoy the creative process of growing a clothing brand and do it for the reason that you're trying to learn, you're trying to grow, and it's exciting making those incremental improvements every day that are small, that aren't in the results that you're getting, but are in those feelings of having an epiphany, or coming out with a new design that you're excited about, or talking to somebody about your brand and getting some new feedback, things like that. You have to really fall in love with that. Now, this is where this video is going to take a turn from where videos like this normally go, which is, all right, that's it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process, man. Don't just be so addicted to results and needing results right now. And it's super easy to say that, but it's like, how do you actually do that? But I want to talk to like that right there, that actually enjoying the process is something very real. And it's something that you actually have to do. Like right now, me talking to this camera, I have to actually enjoy this whole process of exactly what I'm doing. And it's like when you're sitting down to design a new design for your clothing brand, or whatever it is that you're working on, where you fall into those places where you're actually enjoying it and you're excited just simply by the actions that you're taking. And you're not just thinking about what you're going to get, but you're really enjoying the creative process. So if you're really struggling with your clothing brand right now and you've been at this for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, I really want you to put this into perspective, just how long it can actually take to build something. And I want you to truly understand that where you're at right now is just where you need to be. And there's lessons that you can pull out of exactly where you're at right now. And there's another step to take. Okay, so just basically look for that next step to take, whether that's a change of your website, a tweak in your brand concept, something different that you're doing on social media, maybe reaching out to different influencers or something like that. Look for the next step and then just take that step. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep reminding yourself that it takes a long time, that the journey, is meant to be difficult. It's meant to be long. But going through that journey will not only transform you, but it'll actually separate you from everybody else who's just not willing to keep pushing through that. And those are the people who achieve success at the end of the day. Think about what you're competing with when it comes to growing a clothing brand and the other people that are trying to do the same thing. We all have the same biology, which means that we're disposed to the same thoughts and the same feelings as everybody else. On top of that, we live in a culture that is constantly peppering us with how we should be thinking and how we should be feeling at all times. And what this culture is doing is it's basically turning us all into consumers. And so what you're competing with most new entrepreneurs is people who are in this consumer mentality of needing things right now. And that's what you get with most people who try to start up a business, is they're starting up a business from that consumer mentality. As the business owner who's supposed to be in the top 1% and have that top 1% thinking, most people starting a business are in that majority level thinking where they themselves are trying to be a consumer while growing a business, and they're trying to consume themselves. But it needs to be flipped. You need to become that seller, and that's what the top 1% of society really does, is they have different thoughts. They really use their willpower to override their biology. That's literally what they're doing, is overriding their biology. Anybody who's on a path to success is literally overriding that part of themselves that's telling them that they need right now and that they need all the success right now. Because in order to get success, it's basically a prerequisite that you have to be patient and that it takes a lot amount of time. And this is really the separator between most people. It's the barrier to entry for success, essentially, because most people just aren't able to put this in perspective enough and see the progress over a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. And most people look at progress from week to week, from day to day. And that is really the big difference in mentality between people who aren't getting success and people who are. What this change in perspective should do for you is allow you to slide into a new mentality growing your clothing brand, where you're not frantically reacting to everything that's happening on a daily basis and on a week-to-week basis, but where you're actually planning for the future. And where you see that you can relax right now, because this is a long journey and it's going to take some time for this to build. And that's a beautiful place to be coming from growing a business, because that's accurate with reality. And that mentality will also keep you motivated in the long run and stop you from freaking out anytime something isn't going well right now in the moment, whether it's 6 months in, a year in, 2 years in. You can relax and realize that you're still at the beginning of your journey, you're still working on this, and that there's plenty of improvement to be made, and that you still can achieve the success that you're looking for. I honestly hope that this video really helped you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Drop your brand down there as well. I like to check out the brands that are watching. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass, and you can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.